Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming back to the channel. Today we have a special guest with us today. This is Charles from Secure Harbor Financial, and he has come along to really give us some insights as to how he can really, open up the mindsets of many of our women entrepreneurs that are really, having some challenges today, maybe even feeling sort of guilt in even aspiring to fulfill their dreams and their business. So today, Charles, I wanted to talk to you. First of all, welcome to the channel, Charles.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Dee Dee.
Yes, you're welcome. So today, I wanted to get some insight because one of the things that I have noticed that many entrepreneurs are struggling with, in particular, even women, are they're feeling some sense of guilt, right? And I'm pretty sure you've experienced that too because we work with a lot of entrepreneurs. And one of the things that, I would really like to get your insight on is, why do you think they are struggling with, you know, just this work-life balance?
Well, that's a loaded question. So, as entrepreneurs, and especially, women entrepreneurs, we have this big vision. There's typically you're a high achiever. If you're in the entrepreneurial realm, you're a high achiever, right? You have big vision. You want to do big things. And so you look at a problem and you say, I can do that better. So then you go out and you go and try and achieve it. And along the way, you start taking on all these different tasks as an entrepreneur.
Mhm.
So not only are you running the day-to-day business, not only are you doing the accounting, not only are you doing the marketing and the sales and everything involved with being a business owner, you're doing that all at the same time. So you're doing 10 different jobs, right? And that doesn't leave time for anything else. And you're trying to be profitable and you have all these spinning plates at the same time, right?
Mhm.
And typically what happens when we're fully immersed with trying to make this business successful is that our family gets pushed to the wayside,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And and now we've created this environment where your family's pushed to the wayside, right? Because you're trying to do so much, you're trying to create a successful business, you're trying to hold everything together, and now your family is just kind of taking on a seat back, right? You're not able to like really be present with them.
Mhm.
So it creates this weird environment where now a lot of people, and me included, you start feeling guilty when you're hanging out with your family,
Mm.
right? You feel guilty when you're hanging out with your family because you're thinking of all the things that aren't getting done within your business,
That's right.
right? So you're like, okay, but now you go back to your business and you're feeling guilty about not spending time with your family.
Exactly.
And no matter where you're at, you're never fully present.
Mm.
And
Wow.
that creates so much inner turmoil. And it's hard to create and it's hard to be successful in an environment like that because no matter what you do, you have this guilt with you.
Mm.
And
Wow.
so one of the books one of like my top three books right now is by Dan Martell. It's called Buy Back Your Time.
Mm.
And basically the premise of the book is any task that you can basically buy for someone else to do,
Exactly.
start doing that. Start delegating these things away.
Mhm.
That gives you more free time. And that free time that you have, you can do higher level things that create more money for your business.
Exactly. That
But
kind of lines up with the book Who, Not How, right?
correct. I
Who
think
can
it's
you
just a
hire?
exactly. I think it's just a more modern version of that book. It's basically the same thing. It's just a different flair to that
Right.
to that
Exactly.
book. But when we start thinking of how can we start buying back our time, that gives us more time for family. So one of the things that Don Martell talks about, he's like, all I do is give hugs like to his friends and family, and he stays within his creative genius.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. But I think one of the challenges that many entrepreneurs have is many of them are starting out, right? And so
Yep,
they don't have the budget to necessarily even hire out someone.
correct. And that's where you're just like, well, what do I do now,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So if you take a look at all the tasks that you do as an entrepreneur, if you take a look at all those different tasks, what are the tasks that will make you the most money? You figure out what those tasks are and you focus on those solely. Don't
Right.
focus on anything. Everything else can catch on fire. Just focus on making more money, right?
Catch on fire.
If
I
it
wish I
catches
had
on
that.
fire, it
I
catches
wish
on
I had
fire. But at least, you've generated the money. So then you can start, you know,
fire.
fi-
Fire emoji.
then you can start delegating those tasks to other people and
Right.
then just continue that whole process. But it's scary,
Mhm.
because most people, one of the biggest problems is, as an entrepreneur, we can probably do it better than anybody else. So when we delegate it to somebody else and they're not doing it to the same standard,
Yes.
we start internally freaking out. So now we're like, okay, we gotta
I'll
take
take
this
it back.
back, right? It's the wrong way to look at things. We want to make sure that whoever we delegate to, they can at least do the job to 80% of what we could do. And if they can do the job at 80% level, then it's good enough. You just keep moving forward and be okay with maybe something that's not perfection, but it's at least good enough to keep, the different functions of the business running.